Tom and Elaine, I am so grateful that you and honored that you have decided to be part of this weekend's celebration. And so we just want to hear a bit of your story. Why on earth did you make a career change in your late 40s? That sounds terrifying.
Well, the Lord had something to do with that. And he was gentle with us, but he kept prodding us. Mike was big on discipleship, as you know.
Yeah.
That's what he preached, and we actually came to Ginghamsburg in 1976. One night I was coming back from a real estate showing, and I was just thanking the Lord that we were able to build a new house out there in Deercliff, and not that we were hanging on to that, but we had made friends. Elaine was in a Bible study with the ladies, and it was just peaceful being there. And it was like the Lord, like I heard him say to me before I even went back into the garage. He said, well, just enjoy it because you're not going to be here long. And that was the beginning of stirring my heart.
Yeah, you're talking 1984. I mean, what was, this is the heart of the Cold War. I mean, just to think about some of the things that you experienced back in those early days. Now, so here you are, you're in your late 40s, you have teenagers? I mean, how old are your children?
Yeah, Chris was married the day before, and they were expecting their first child. I found out when I got to the airport to leave.
Oh my goodness.
And then our son Mike, he was at the university, and our son Joe, he was school age, so he went with us.
So you're talking about all the stuff that you had to give up. What about the fears that you had to overcome? Like, what were some of the things that you remember thinking to yourself, here's all the reasons why, God, we can't do this?
You give up your family, your friends, your language, your church, and let's see, there was a fifth one. And well, other things, your work or whatever it is. And you have nothing. You have nothing in which to live and to operate and let alone think of trying to communicate with someone that's not English speaking.
Yeah.
So those hit you in the face when you get there. The reality of that, even though we're taught that through our mission, was to be. But I had to go through each one of those things and lay those down when I was there, because the reality was it has to happen.
So let's talk a little bit about, you're naming some of the challenges. What are some of the victories that you saw?
We established a little coffee house on the square, and we called it Common Ground. And it was, trying to get on common ground with the local people. And Elaine was a potter, so she used her gifting to meet with the women, and they loved it. She was often one part of the common grounds, and she was having pottery lessons with the ladies and making things, and they were just loving that. And then at night, I was doing the English and the Bible studies.
That's awesome. So I imagine there's someone listening into our conversation and their heart is pounding out of their chest because the Holy Spirit's at work in them and working on them. And they sense God's given them this supernatural assignment. What do you want to say to that person?
Well, I would say, when God speaks, we need to listen. And he speaks through his word. He speaks through people, through friends. But it's not something we're necessarily going to get on Sunday morning. If that's all they do, come listen to a great message, and then by Monday they're back to normal life. But they have to make that part of their life. If God is speaking, I would just say we better be listening, because he's got something for us that we don't yet know.
We went with the thought of, well, we'll go. If we made the wrong decision, we can come home. But you're hoping it was the right decision, and it was. For us, it was. Can't just force people to do that. You have to be willing to step out, and everything around you then diminishes, except the thought of following Christ and where he's calling you to be.
That is so incredible. Well, I have to say an enormous thank you to both of you. You're talking 30 plus years of ministry, of surrendering yourself to the Lord and saying, okay, God, where you want to use me, you use me, taking your ordinary gifts and trusting in God's supernatural power. And so I'm just so thrilled. And I want to say thank you on behalf of all of Ginghamsburg for being an incredible mission partner in our world, for continually challenging us that discipleship is where it's at. Tom, you're still doing it today, saying, look, our calling is to be disciples who make disciples, period, exclamation mark. And so from our hearts to yours, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.